Okay, hello everybody. We're going to begin the online course for blueprinting with tape measures. So one thing that I find in Sheridan when we get going, a lot of times the students don't know how to read a tape measure. So on the online portion, we're throwing it in as a quick little lesson for you guys, a couple exercises to be done. But as you can see here, we have your standard 25-foot tape measure. Down here, there's multiple different types of them. Um, Up here, you've got a digital one that'll read it out for you, right? And then you get into the type of tape measures that are used for sewing. You know, this is type of a pocket tape measure that would just simply fit in your pocket. Take it out for small measurements, right? Nothing overly major, but in for the most part, you're looking at these types of tape measures. Okay. Tape measures may very well be one of the most important tools to any tradesman. Tape measures allow for accurate measurements right down to 1/64 of an inch. Now this tape measure that's shown here measures to 1/32 of an inch, but some of them go to 1/64. That's a real fine measurement that in plumbing you're likely never going to need. Not all tape measures are the same. You need to purchase a tape measure to meet your individual needs. Notice this tape on the right. It contains both metric and imperial. So it has centimeters and it has inches. Now for the most part in the trades, we're going to deal with inches. So it shows the imperial in inches and parts of an inch. The bottom of the tape measure shows metric in centimeters and parts of a centimeter. In the trades, the imperial tape measure is the one that is used. Almost all measurements are given in feet and inches. And keeping in mind when it comes to feet, it has the one little dash on it. And when it comes to inches, it has two dashes to represent inches. So let's look at the top portion of this tape measure. We can see that the tape shows a bit more than 4 inches. So starting at 0, there's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, and just a little bit shown outside of the picture or inside of the picture. These are referred to as divisions. Every slash is a division regardless of where it is on the tape. So all these black lines are divisions. Doesn't matter how big they are, where they are, they're all referred to as divisions. So there's an example of 3 of them. You'll notice some divisions are larger than other ones. These larger ones can give the user a quick reference as to where they are on the tape measure. So for instance, if you notice all the lines here, if you were to count them all, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Notice that the longest line, this one here, see they're all the same within the 1 inch frame. The longer line is the halfway point. It gives you immediate reference to where you are. You'll notice here the next 1/4 inch lines here and here. So you have 1/4 inch, half, which is another 1/4 added, and then 3/4. They're a little bit shorter, but still longer than the rest. Then if you look at the 1/8, they're a little bit longer, right? So it gives you a quick reference. And then all these red slash ones are 1/16 of an inch. And if you count them, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of them. Okay, so it makes quick reference. Now, if you needed 15/16, you know that this is 16 over 16 is a whole number. It would bring the 1 to a 2. So if you needed 15/16 on a tape measure, you just jump back 1. And there would be 1 and 15/16. If you needed 3 and 15/16, it's right there. You just have to count. And don't count from here. You count from the very first division. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. If it were 16, it would actually be 4 inches, right? Because you've covered the whole inch. So again, this tape breaks measurements down to 16ths of an inch. All the red divisions are 16ths of an inch. So they're just highlighted here. In reality, these are all 16ths of an inch, if you were to count them. Measurements are written as a fraction. For our purposes, we will record everything in inches and fractions of an inch. So example, you would have 102 1/2 inches. Keeping in mind this tape measure is only opened up to 4 inches, right? So we're not going to put like 8 feet 3.5 inches. Okay, everything we're going to do is we're going to keep it in inches. So what if we wanted to find 1 3/4 inches? Can you find it? So if we were to start at our starting point here, this is 0. Well, there's 1 inch. Right here is 1 inch. And we want to find 3/4. Well, there's 1/4. Another quarter would be half. Then you have 3/4. And if you added another quarter, it'd be the whole number 2. So we're looking for 3/4. There it is right there. So that would be our measurement. And we'd mark our pipe, cut the pipe right there. So here's 1 inch. Here's 1 3/4. This distance is 1 3/4. Okay, so it starts at the very end at the clip of the tape measure. It doesn't start at 1, it starts at 0. So we'll break it down again. Notice the inches have divisions just to the right of the number. Right? So this line to the right of every number, the solid line, represents this number. 2 inches is right here, not here. This is wrong. 2 inches is here. Okay. So there you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 inches on your tape measure. Keep in mind, if you have a tape measure at home, it'd be great to bring it out. You could pause the slideshow, grab it, and take a look at it as we go along. But this gives you an idea. So there's 4/4 in an inch. So let's count them. There's 1/4. Another quarter equals 1/2. And another quarter equals 3/4. The 4th quarter inch makes it a whole number. So 1 3/4 plus a quarter would then equal 2 inches, right? You wouldn't say 1 4/4. You'd say 2 inches. So if you're confused about quarter inch, 3/4, 1/8, 1/16, etc., etc., let's see if I can help you understand this a little bit better. Imagine you had a loonie, right? Just your loonie coin that you go and, sitting in your pocket right now if you're lucky enough. So let's say that the loonie is equal to 1 inch. Okay, so that's 0 to 1, or 3 to 4, or 6 to 7, or 105 to 106. It's only 1 inch we're dealing with. Okay, so what if we had to get some change for this loonie? Let's say we asked for a quarter. How many quarters would you get for a loonie? You get 4, right? 25 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents, and another 25 cents. That equals a loonie. Remember I said that in the tape measure, there's 4 quarters. There's 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. You add the 4th quarter, and you get 1. Okay, so I kind of hope that helps you a little bit. So now we have 4 coins worth 25 cents each. What's the common term for a 25-cent coin? It's a quarter. There are 4 quarters in a loonie, and there's 4 quarters in that inch. That never changes. There's always 4 quarters and an inch. So if we take away 2 quarters, we're left with 2 quarters, right? Or half, or half an inch. So it'll be 50 cents left over, which is half a loonie, or half an inch, right? You're taking away half with 50%. You're taking away half on the tape measure also. So for instance, if we had a whole inch here and we took away half, which is 2 quarters, right? We would say we could take away 1 quarter and take away this quarter, and that's half the tape measure gone. Because remember, the middle section on the tape measure, in the middle of every inch, the longest line is the halfway point. If you purchase something that's $3.25, let's say that's 3¼ inches, and you pay using 4 loonies, so now you have 4 inches, your change would be 75 cents or 3 quarters. So I hope that kind of helps you. So let's try a couple more here. Let's look at the 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, 6/16, 7/16, 8/16, 9/16, 10/16, 11/16, 12/16, 13/16, 14/16, 15/16, and 16/16 is a whole number, so it would take the 0 to the 1. Okay, so if we look at this and we wanted to break it down, let's think of an easy one here that we can break down. Let's look right here, 3/4 of an inch. Well, if we go with 16ths, we added up all the 16ths, we've had 12/16. But this can be reduced. So what number goes into 12 and will go into 16 evenly that it can be reduced? Well, how about 4? 4 goes into 12 3 times. 4 goes into 16 4 times. So now it's 3/4 of an inch. It's 12/16, but it's 3/4 of an inch. Now, why do we need to go with 3/4 of an inch? Because everything in this class has to be reduced. Well, I'll tell you why. Here's your tape measure. Somebody says, okay, I need, now remember, these numbers aren't going to be here, right? So someone says, hey, I need a piece cut 12/16. They're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There it is, right? But remember, these lines are longer, okay? All the 16ths, but as they get bigger, 1/8, quarter, and a half, as these numbers get bigger, the lines get bigger. So what if somebody says, cut a piece 3/4 of an inch? Oh, yeah, boom, right there, because you're just looking for this line. There's the center line, is 1/4 more. So it's easy to find, and they're quicker to find. Same thing can be said with, well, here, 4/16 of an inch. You could simply go 1, 2, 3, 4, there it is. But if you divide this 4/16 and find a common denominator, 4 is the number you're looking for. 4 goes into 4 1 time, and 4 goes into 16 4 times, making it 1/4 of an inch. Right? Here's your 1/4 inch jumps. So again, it's quicker to find. Oh, 1/4 of an inch, boom, there it is. So a little thing to kind of help you understand where the numbers are on a tape measure. Carry on here. Let's look for 2 1/4 inches. So 2 inches is here. It's already shown on the tape measure anyways above. But now you got to find that 1/4 inch that we're just talking about, we looked at. So can you find a 1/4 inch? So let's keep in mind that 1/4 inches are broken into longer lines, right? And then obviously this one here. So you have 1/4, half, 3/4, full number, 3. So we're looking for 2 1/4. Well, here's 2, right? There's the 1/4. Do you see that? There you go. So this distance is 2¼ inches. Let's find 3 3/8. So again, we're looking for the solid number 3. We know we can see the 3 on the tape easy, and we know that the solid line beside it is actually 3 inches. There it is. Now we're looking for 3/8 of an inch. Now that can't reduce to anything, so you're gonna have to start counting the lines. So let's keep in mind now that we have 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8 is a whole number, which makes it the 4. We're looking for 3/8 of an inch. So again, we do not count this number. We don't start counting from here. We take the first division and count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So those are the 16ths, but we're looking for 8ths. Here are the 8ths. They're a little bit longer. There, 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 there. 3/8. 1, 2, 3/8 right there. So this distance is 3 3/8 of an inch. Okay. So you still confused a little bit about the tape measure? Let's take a look at this. Let's take another approach. Let's look at a pizza. Now let's say a pizza is equal to 1 inch. Same idea as before with the Looney. I'm going to break it down even more. So there's 4 people at your party. Let's cut the pizza into 4 even pieces. There you go. Those are quarters, right? You have a quarter of the pizza. Just like if it was a Looney, you'd have 4 quarters, right? 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, and a whole dollar. What if you had 8 people to your party? You'd have to cut more slices, right? There you go. Now the pizza is cut into 8 individual pieces. You've just taken the 1/4 inch and you chopped it in half. So now everyone has 1/8 of the pizza. Now you have 8 slices for 8 people. Now your party has 16 people. You have to cut the pizza into 16 slices, so you have to cut the 8ths. So the 8 slices in half. There you go. Now everyone has a 16th of the pizza. So let's try another one. 3 5/16 of an inch. So find 3 inches. Now take the time, and I want you to find 5/16 of an inch. So you start at the 3, and you've got to count. Now remember, 16/16 is a whole number. It equals 1, so it would equal to 4. Remember earlier I said you could just go back 1 division and it would be 15/16 from the 4. So let's do this together. From 3, you don't count this one. You count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There is 15/16. Remember I said 16/16 is a whole number, which would be the 4. So you're just backing it off 1 division because it's 15, not 16. And there it is. There is 15/16. The distance is 3 15/16 of an inch. There should only be 1 slash here. Just notice this. I gotta take one of those out. So it's just gonna be like this, okay? So you have 3 15/16, and there's the actual distance. Okay. As a matter of fact, now that I think of it, I will correct this before you guys see it. So ignore what I said. There should only be 2 slashes, just like this. This one's got to be fixed also. So, all right, I'll get them fixed up for you. So let's find 1 3/4 of an inch. 1 3/4. It's right there in front of you. It's even labeled. But here's 1 inch, and here's 3/4. This distance is 1 3/4. So at this point, what I'd like you guys to do is pause this, get a blank piece of paper, or it can be line paper, it doesn't matter, and list down the side A, B, C, D, E, and F, just on each line. You don't have to make this massive. And what I'd like you to do is work through these one at a time. So in A, you see it on the tape measure here, and you're just going to mark in the measurements. Now you have to be careful here. Do you see where the tape measure starts? Right here. But there's no number. Does it start at 1? I mean, it's 107, 108, 109. So this line right here is 106. So there's going to be no number under 106 at all in any of these. Okay? So take your time with this. Pause it. I'll give you a couple seconds here. But this one is actually really easy. And remember to look at the divisions, and you can see that it's the longest division within the inch. Yeah, it looks like it's at the halfway point, right? So I'll go through these one by one. You take a try at it on your own. Figure out what A is, then start the video again to get the answer, and then carry on with each individual letter. This is very similar to what you will see on your first quiz. So there's the answer for A, 107.5. How did I get that? Well, we know this is 106 because this is 107. Tape measures don't start at 107. They don't go 0, 107. They go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 107. And they carry on. So we know this is 107, remember, because this is the whole number is always the long line. There's 108, long line. 109, the long line. And we have our divisions. Remember, the longest division within the inch is the halfway point. And there's A right on the longest division. See how it's longer than all these other ones? So that's halfway right there. 107.5 inches. Okay, pause it, give B a try. And again, if you're stuck, you could count every single division and then just simply reduce it with a common denominator, if possible. Okay, so let's take a look at the answer to B. How many inches do you think it is right away? Well, it's 108 inches. Simply because we're starting at the 108 point. You don't have to worry about 107, 105, 104, no need for it. So number B, or letter B, is going to be 108 inches and so much of a fraction, right? And part of an inch. So can you figure it out? Well, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it lands right on an eighth. Well, this is the first eighth. So let's do B. We get 108 and 1/8. There's whoops, sorry, jumping ahead of myself here. Here's 108 and 1/8. Right there. Do you see that? 1/8. All right, give C a try. Again, C is going to be at the 108 mark. But you're going to have a multitude of numbers here that you got to sort out. So the C lands right on the smallest division. What you can do is just simply count every division. Count them all, and then count this one. So let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. You can make note of 23 on a piece of paper. Then 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So there's 32 divisions in total, and this falls on number 23. And there's your answer. 108, 23 32nds of an inch. Right there. Can't reduce this number at all. That's the final. That's a very fine measurement. Right? And in plumbing, you may not even see that too often. So when you guys try D, pause it again, come back to the video. Okay, I'm not trying to trick you here, but this is a little trick. Anyways, regardless, remember we're starting at 106, goes to 107. You simply have to count the divisions and get your answer. You know 106 is going to be the beginning, but it's the fractions of the inch that you have to sort out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 16ths. Well, can you reduce it? Nope. That is your answer. So let's go on to E. I'd like you guys to pause it again. Then I'm just going to throw up the numbers for you. Okay, so here's the answer to E. So give F a try. We'll give it a few, couple seconds. It's not too tricky, but remember the length of the slashes and see if you can figure this out. Okay, so here's the answer to F. Okay, so hopefully that helps you and you get a good idea on, how the tape measure works. Okay, so let's find some measurements that can be reduced. This is 108 and 2/8 of an inch. We can reduce this number, the 2/8, right? So 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 8 4 times. So you have 1/4 of an inch. 1/4, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and 109. The answer should be written as 8 1/4 inch. Always reduce the fraction whenever possible. So how about this one? What's this measurement? See if you can figure it out for a second. Okay, you got 108 and something. So you might see this right away as 108 and 7/8, which is great. Some may have to count all the divisions along the bottom. If you do that, you get 108 and 14 16ths, which can be reduced. Starting from 108. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right? So if you count them all, you have 16 divisions. But if you count to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 over 16. Or this is 16, you just got to back off 2. But how did we get 7/8? You're wondering? Count the bigger division. These are 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right there. So if you have to break down a tape measure, you could always count every single division and then reduce. So the answer should be written as 108 and 7/8 of an inch. And there it is. Okay, so check out this video and then we'll carry on after that. Got to, whoops. Hang